Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Task Force VII Issue 3 by Jeremy Adams and Marco Santucci. The JSA take center stage this issue as the team are quickly picked apart by one of the members of Task Force VII's Amazo League. During the battle, the Amazo takes Alan Scott's power, which causes it to power down. With the Amazo powered down and Alan without his powers, the team decide to try and get to the Tower of Fate with the help of Salem. Green Lantern writer Jeremy Adams really knows how to set up a plot or a mission very quickly. This is like the first 2 pages that he gets right on into it, thrusting the characters into a on-the-run type story and keeping the momentum moving throughout the entire issue. On top of escaping themselves, the team also find an unconscious Carol Ferris at Hal's destroyed trailer that they found themselves teleported to during the events of Absolute Power issue 1. So they take Carol and escape in their van. As they escape, the Amazo reboots and its systems are overtaken by the Starheart, the magic that powers Alan's ring, turning it into Jadestone. The magic disrupts its base programming and it's forced to return to base and report to Waller as Carol awakens in the presence of the JSA, who catch her up on the heroes being outlawed by Waller. I really like Adams shifting to Carol's POV for this portion of the book. In his Lanterns book, she has just recently become a Star Sapphire again, so she is getting even more involved in Hal's plot than she was before in the book, and I really like that she is the POV here. Having just returned to Earth, she doesn't really know what's going on, she's getting saddled with characters she's not overly familiar with, and it also begins making her question whether she should be a hero again. And I like that they are using the varying ages of the JSA to showcase that, since she sees people like Wildcat who have been in it for, decades, and now he's like kind of like an old man, or then there's like really young heroes like Stargirl who are just starting out, and it's a really thoroughly interesting way to take Carol with her sort of deciding whether this is actually the life she wants, and it neatly mirrors Hal's story as he feels lost without the Green Lantern Corps, and what is his life without it, what is his life outside of it. He doesn't really have one. It's more character development that Carol has gotten in a very long time, and I am all for it. Jadestone meanwhile returns to Waller, who isn't happy that he didn't capture the JSA. Interestingly enough, Waller says that she needs the JSA for something. Now this could just be her like saying she says they're a national security risk, she needs them captured, taken off the table, but it feels like there's a bit more to it than that, since obviously the JSA have been around for a long time. They represent a lot of different ages, and as before, there's like characters who have been in that team for decades, there's new characters. They've also got varying levels of like power, like people connected to the Tower of Fate, which is what Waller is after. So I'm guessing there's something maybe a little bit more ulterior with her motives of wanting them. She wants access to the Tower of Fate, maybe, since they make a point saying she has not been able to capture that. That's like the one magical thing she has not been able to lock down because it keeps moving. It's a little tease to something I'm sure will be explained a little later on in the story as we continue through Absolute Power. Like with Carol wondering where her life will go, the Amazo also doesn't really know what to do with his programming anymore, but doesn't get a chance to question it all that much, as Waller demands he go to the Oblivion Bar and find out where the Tower of Fate is going to be, since it's the only thing, as I said, she hasn't been able to lock down thanks to it moving along the ley line network. I love how Adams is doing the warring subconscious of Jadestone, as he wants to follow his natural programming, which is capture these heroes and villains for Waller, for Task Force VII. But then there's also the power that he absorbed from the Lantern Ring, from Alan's Lantern Ring, that's also affecting him and making him almost a little bit heroic and realizing that Waller is the bad guy. And there's even a part where it wonders whether it should take Waller out or continue following its normal programming, and it decides to continue to follow its normal programming. But I like that there's like hints that it's having this sort of battle in its subconscious. Artist Marco Santucci visualizes this really nicely with this cool yes or no inner monologue bubbles throughout the entire issue, with the normal programming being in this like orangey red, while as the Green Lantern subconsciousness is all green. Also, I really quite like Jadestone's design. It's simple, it's just like an Amazo body that's got some green accents to it, and I like the more complex design comes when it enters its sort of battle mode, where it sort of transforms into this giant mech construct with a big Green Lantern symbol on the front of it. It's really cool looking, and it does a great job separating it from the other Amazos, which are very much taking cues from the heroes that they absorb, like The Last Sun or Failsafe or Lost Paradise. Jadestone leaves to find the bar, and inside the magical watering hole, Forced and many of the others celebrate being safe from whatever's happening outside in the real world. Jadestone proves them wrong, blasting into the bar, literally guns blazing, to take them all down. Steve Trevor, meanwhile, frees himself from Task Force 7 custody, as being caught by Steel was all part of his plan so he could infiltrate Gamora proper and find out what Waller is doing to the heroes. Donning a soldier disguise, Steve stumbles upon the hero prison, and it's not only the heroes that are being captured, but he finds villains like Angleman are being captured as well. Steve uses Angleman trying to escape as a chance to legitimize his disguise, and ends up helping a guard capture the villain who was trying to escape, allowing him into the deeper part of the prison where the villains are seemingly kept. Like the other parts of Steve's story in the first 2 issues of this series, while aren't much, it looks like it's building up to him playing an important role in freeing these heroes, or at least some of these heroes and villains. It's also fun Steve having a part of like a spy thriller like story, and it's putting his skills to good use, and really Steve actually deserves a chance to be part of a big storyline, since it feels like writers often forget about him, and I understand why. He is kind of, generic white military guy. There's dozens of those in DC, but I like that they're putting all his skills to good use here and actually using him to further a plot point that I'm really interested in, finding out what Waller's plan is for these heroes. While Steve sneaks around Waller's island base, the JSA and Carol arrive at the Tower of Fate, where they are met by Stitch, who reveals the monsters inside the menagerie got loose. Before they can do anything to stop the situation though, Jadestone appears, demanding that the heroes come with him. Adams explores the Amazo's new personality more here, since the being doesn't just attack the heroes, instead it asks if Alan Scott actually saves people. The others realize that the Starheart has taken over the robot's programming, and it's given Alan a chance to talk with it and explain that he does indeed save people as a hero. The robot's battle with its programming continues to be just so damn interesting, and probably the most detailed of these new Amazos so far. It's the only one of these type that has this sort of inner turmoil happening, where the more it takes these heroes, the more interesting it becomes, because, taking on their abilities. And there's also that added layer of the fact that technically all of these Amazos have a multiversal Zur and R in them somewhere, and the Zur and R's idea, or like the failsafe's idea, was to be a hero, be a better hero. So I like that that's also feeding into it as well, where it's realizing that these heroes that it's taken are actually doing a good job and being heroes, and it's kind of combating itself, and it can't really process the fact that it's attacking someone who's actually being a hero. It's being the villain basically, and it's realizing that is really cool and really interesting way to take these villains who could have just easily been, no name fucking punching bags for these heroes to deal with across this entire event, just with a cool design to help sell variant covers or toys sometime down the line. But I like that there's that little extra step to make them that much more interesting. Jadestone, however, refuses to let all of the heroes go, but Alan manages to convince it to let all of the other heroes go, and in return he will come willingly with it back to Waller's base. The Task Force 7 series continues to grow in a great way, with each new issue and new writer taking a crack at one of the Amazos and doing a pretty damn good job of it each time. Jeremy Adams weaves his own currently running plots in the Green Lantern ongoing very well with the story of the JSA and Waller's absolute power plans, making the Jadestone Amazo easily the most fleshed out of the several new villains thus far. I can't wait to see what more Adams does with the character and with the JSA and Carol's story in the next Green Lantern book. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10.